So, good afternoon. I just want to visit today and sort of again tell you how I really survived the 80s and some of the things that I do. And while I was doing that, I was going to fix my flower water, and I just picked this. We had a nice rain last night, so actually everything is nice, washed clean. And last night I was reminded of something that happened to me when I was in my 60s. When I was 62, my mother died. And I had taken care of my folks the last 7 years of their life. My mom and dad were 6 years apart, so actually they both died when they were 84. And at that time, I was probably pretty worn out. The situation between us and our son next door was pretty much how it was with my folks. They lived on our property in a little house, and so I was there when my dad died, but he died in his home. And I had spent a hard year taking care of him. They thought he had prostate cancer, but he really didn't. But he did have, I think what he had was he'd worked in the shipyards during the war, and and he also smoked during that time. He quit later on, but when they x-rayed his lungs, they could still see the results of smoking after 40 years or more. But I mean, since he had stopped, it was amazing to me to see. But I think he had that asbestos type cancer, but whatever it was, he died before. He never had a lot of pain, or at least he didn't complain. But it was a hard time. And then my mother was very sick and it required a lot to take care of her. But I moved her into our home so I could take care of her easily, or easier. But at the end of that time, and I suppose this might be an excuse for poor health, I don't know, but I can remember one morning I was eating some, oops, that one didn't stay together. I'm going to put in the petals. Anyway, I was eating some salad and probably lettuce out of our garden. And at that time, we had our own meat, we had our own eggs, we had a lot of our own vegetables, and I ate fairly healthy. I had no idea how bad sugar was for me, and I probably ate, I don't want to use that, probably ate some things that I shouldn't have. By the way, I put in mint, lemon balm, and lavender in my water, and roses. Okay. Anyway, I was eating this salad for breakfast, and a piece of it, I choked on it. It wouldn't go up, it wouldn't go down, and we sort of panicked. But finally, it came up, but we had a doctor friend, and he made an appointment with a specialist for me to see and check out my throat. Well, when they went down and checked it out, my esophagus was just red, angry red, and sores all the way down. I had, I don't know, 3 or 4 ulcers, and was not in good shape that way. And I can remember she sent me home with 4 samples of the purple pill type thing, and by then I was beginning to read and be more aware of what was happening with drugs and different things. And they're synthetic, really. They're made out of petroleum products, a lot of them. So anyway, I decided I would check each one of them out. Well, some of the side effects to some of them said they would cause ulcers, and that's what I thought I was getting rid of. So I thought, no, I don't want to do those. But the one that had, and this really got me, it would only happen once to you, so what to worry? And that was sudden death. So I decided, no, I don't want to take those. I want to do something else. So I kept reading, and I had some very good friends that were further along in the health journey than I was. And so they were a help to me. But what I decided to do, and I'd read this, that cabbage juice will cure ulcers. So I bought a Champion juicer, and I started juicing cabbage juice. And you have to drink it immediately. So I could remember, I'd make it, I'd drink it, I'd clean up my juicer. And cabbage juice actually doesn't taste all that bad, especially if you drink it really fresh. If it sits around, it's not. But and it's said to be most effective. You had to drink it before it sat around, so I did. And I did that faithfully 2 times a day, and a lot of times 3. I aimed for 3, but realistically, lots of times it didn't happen. But 2 times it did. And then the green powdery stuff, I started drinking that. I started even making my own. Let's see. And I took an amino acid L-glutamine, which is what's really in the cabbage that does the trick on your ulcers. And I can remember that had to be taken on an empty stomach, so I kept it in the bathroom, and when I'd go in the bathroom during the night, I'd take that. I figured that was that I would have an empty stomach then. So I was to go back in 3 months to have it checked. Well, I could tell the ulcers were gone, and I think in 2 weeks I could tell they were gone. And when she went down and checked, they were gone. It looked good, my stomach looked good, my esophagus looked good, but you know, stuff rushes down your throat, so it doesn't have a chance to really stay and do its healing like it would in your stomach. So even though it looked good, the tissue underneath was still not quite healed. And then she found out I wasn't taking her purple pill. And she said, unless you take my medicine, I won't treat you. And I wanted to get that last test. So I thought, okay, I'll take it, but I won't take it every day, 7 days a week. But I didn't tell her that, but at least I could tell her I was taking it. So, but what I found out, I would take it, I think 3 days a week, and 4 days I would do, well, I continued to do what I was doing, but I also took her pill. The day that I would stop, the next day, my stomach would hurt. It just seemed like everything flared up. But I hung in there. The second day afterwards, it was better, and then it would be really good again. Well, when I finally went back for the last time, yes, everything was healed up and good. And then she told me I'd have to take that purple pill the rest of my life. I had a high urdle, I'm not sure I'm saying that right, hernia, and quite a big one. And so she said, you either have to take the purple pill or get the operation to fix that. And so, whoops, hon, how are you? Good morning, good afternoon.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Anyway, where was I? Oh,
I think you were in your kitchen.
okay, thank you. It's always nice to know where I am. So anyway, I was to get that operation, and I went home and I researched that, and I thought, no, I'm not doing that. And actually, I had an appointment to see that doctor, so I just called and canceled that appointment, and I never looked back. But one of the things that I found out during those times, I made myself a little rule: never eat anything white the second half of the day. So that meant dairy. And I didn't drink milk because at that time I was having trouble with milk anyway. So, but it did mean yogurt, it did mean cottage cheese, any kind of cheese, sour cream, anything like that. Oh, and whey, anything with whey in it. That was way bad. So, anyway, so I did that, and the reason I was reminded of all of this, last night, at our last little time we ate in the afternoon, I had salad. Tom likes cottage cheese, and he has lots. We always have cottage cheese in the refrigerator. Lots of times I make it. If I make it myself, I find out I do better with it. But anyway, I ate some on my salad, went to bed, and I had to get up and take something because I realized I was having that acid reflux or GERD or whatever you want to call it again. And I'll tell you what I do when that happens, and it does it every time. First, well, maybe not first, because I didn't do it first of all last night, but baking soda. And I'll just show you, and you've probably done this, and it's real easy. And I'll just get water out of here. And anyway, I put some water in a glass, and I'm not going to put it in there because I don't want it, but I'll show you. And I take about that much on a tip of the thing, stir it up, and drink it. And if that doesn't do anything, then what I really do, and this even works more effectively, and I've got some flavored, what do they do with it? Wait just a minute. Here. I actually use the flavored kind that I make out of this, but this is Bragg's vinegar with the mother in it. It's not pasteurized, it's organic, and I take a teaspoon of that, put it in some water, glass of water, and drink it. And usually that is what does the trick. But there's some imbalance. You either have too much acid, which actually it's more of a problem of not enough, or anyway, one of these is going to do it for me. And that's what I do. And I've never taken the purple pill since then. And here I am 20 years later, and no operation, no purple pill, and not much trouble with actually GERD or acid reflux, except when I disobey my rule of eating cottage cheese at night, something white later in the day. So anyway, that's my story and how I survived in my 80s. And that's it for today. So enjoy your day, and don't forget to take care of yourself.